Hi, and welcome to a Life Soul podcast, where we explore personal growth, high performance, and intentional living. I am Wasim Balani, and I believe life isn't just about getting through the day, it's about becoming fully alive in everything we do. Through my journey, whether in medicine as a heart rhythm cardiologist, cycling and running, or personal development, I have learned that success isn't just about reaching goals, but about who we become along the way. This podcast is here to inspire and challenge you to push your limits, cultivate discipline, and live with purpose. Join me each week as we dive into ideas, reflections, and practical strategies to help you grow into your best self. So let's get started. Hey there, and welcome to this week's episode. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in the moment where you felt like giving up? Not because you didn't care, but because it just felt too hard, too slow, too tiring, too much. Maybe you were chasing a goal, but progress felt invisible. Maybe you were trying to stay consistent, but your energy was gone. Or maybe you were just mentally and emotionally drained. That's where endurance shows up. Not the kind of endurance people cheer for, but the quiet kind, when no one is watching, when results are slow, when you're tempted to walk away. That's what we were talking about today. True endurance. The kind that does not just test your body, it shapes your identity. The kind that helps you finish strong, even when you're moving slowly. The kind that turns a good intention into something real. Because at the end of the day, you don't need to be the fastest or the strongest. You just need to be someone who keeps going, especially when it's hard, especially when it's quiet. I want to take you back to a day I will never forget. I was on a 100-mile bike ride in the middle of the summer. The heat was brutal. It was over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. I had trained for it very well, but by mile 85, I was so drained. I remember I was climbing a hill, so exhausted, and suddenly my left leg cramped up too hard. I had to just stop pedaling. I managed to get off the bike and lay down in the shades at the side of the road. And right then, I told myself, maybe I'm done. Maybe I should quit. Maybe this is my limit. But deep down, something pushed back. You're not a quitter. You're someone who finishes. So I rested, hydrated, took a breath, and got back on the bike. It wasn't easy. Those last 15 miles were really rough. But I kept moving forward, slowly but surely, until I crossed that finish line. And that moment, it wasn't about completing the ride. It was about proving something to myself, that I could endure, that I could push through the suffering, that I could finish even when it hurt. The same mindset came up again in running during my half marathon training. There were so many days I didn't feel like running. Days I was tired, days my legs were heavy, days when the pace felt way off. But I kept showing up. Week after week I ran. And when I finally crossed that finish line, it wasn't just about the distance, it was about who I had become along the way. I had become someone who follows through, someone who doesn't quit when it gets hard, someone who endures. Going through that half marathon run or the 100 miles ride, it really made something clear to me. Endurance is not about the strengths, it's about the identity. It's not about having endless energy or superhuman willpower. It's about making a quiet decision to keep going, even when no one is watching, even when the finish line feels far away. Endurance is waking up on a hard day and saying, I'm going to keep showing up anyway. It's about pushing through the boredom, the resistance, the doubt, and still saying, this matters. I'm not walking away. It's what you fall back on when the initial excitement is gone, when the easy path is calling your name, when you feel like nobody sees the effort you're putting in. And that's what makes endurance so different from quick enthusiasm or surface level momentum. Because enthusiasm is a spark, endurance is the slow burning fire that stays lit even when it's cold, even when the wind is strong. It's built through repetition, It's tested in silence, and it's refined in the struggle. The truth is, endurance doesn't always look impressive. Sometimes it looks like finishing a task you didn't want to do, or continuing to show up in a relationship when it would be easier to disengage, or sticking to a goal even though progress is slower than you hoped. And that's why it's so valuable. Because anyone can show up when it's easy, but the ones who keeps going when it's hard, they're the ones who grow the most. So endurance isn't just a trait, it's a declaration. It's a statement about who you are becoming. I don't stop when it's hard. I don't walk away when I feel discouraged. I'm the kind of person who keeps going. That identity, that mindset, it will carry you through far more than just one finish line. It will carry you through life, through setbacks, through silence, through every moment that tests who you really are. And here's the thing I've come to realize. Endurance doesn't just show up when things get tough. It's built over time. It doesn't magically appear in the middle of the challenge. It's formed in the lead up, the days, the week, and the months before. It's the result of all the small choices no one sees. It's built through consistency, showing up again and again, even when it feels repetitive, even when the progress is invisible, even when no one's cheering you on. It's built through discipline, doing what you committed to, not just what you feel like doing, choosing the long-term benefit over the short-term comfort, keeping a promise to yourself when it would be much easier to let it slide. And that's what people often miss. They see the endurance in the final mile, the finish line, the big accomplishment. But what they don't see is the hundreds of quiet moments that led there. My half marathon didn't just happen because I suddenly became mentally tough. It happened because I showed up on the tired days, the cold days, the slow days. One run at a time, one decision at a time. Some days I ran strong, other days I just ran, but I kept going. And that consistency built my capacity to endure. And that applies to so much more than running. Whether it's your career, your health, your personal goals, your relationships, endurance is born in the ordinary days. It's born in the decision to keep writing when no one is reading, to keep investing in a relationship when it's not easy, to keep pursuing your dream even when progress feels slow. Because every small act of discipline, every time you choose consistency over convenience, you're reinforcing the identity. I am someone who endures. And that identity is what shows up when things get hard. The more I leaned into endurance sports, through long rides, hard runs, and training days when I wanted to quit, the more I realized something powerful. Physical endurance doesn't just train your body, it reshapes your mind. Because when you're out there pushing through discomfort and doubt, you're learning how to stay grounded in discomfort. You're learning how to suffer well, how to be uncomfortable without breaking. And that strength carries over into your career, your relationships, your parenting, your goals. It builds that kind of mental stamina that life will demand over and over again. And that's the deeper lesson here. The greatest gift physical endurance gives us is the ability to endure life. Because life doesn't always go the way we want. Doors don't open right away. People don't always respond. Progress is slower than we hoped. And that's when we start to wonder, should we keep going? Because most people quit too early. They stop knocking just before the breakthrough. They walk away when they were closer than they knew. But endurance teaches you to stay in it. It teaches you that just because something is hard doesn't mean it's wrong. And just because it's slow doesn't mean it's not worth it. The same mindset that gets me through mile 85 in my bike ride, that gets me through mile 12 in my running, that same mindset will carry you through rejection, delay, doubt, and difficulty. Endurance is what helps you keep going, especially when no one else sees it. It's what helps you finish strong, even if it's slower, even if it's messier, even if it looks nothing like what you imagined. So if you are in a season where things feel heavy, where it's tempting to quit, to stop trying, to stay quiet, I want you to know this. You're not failing, you are enduring. Every step forward, no matter how slow, still counts. Every time you choose to keep going, you're becoming stronger. And remember, Endurance is not about perfection. It's not about being the fastest or doing it flawlessly. It's about finishing in the long run, even if you're barely walking by the end. So here's what I want you to do this week. Choose one area where you've been tempted to quit. Maybe it's a goal, a project, a habit, or a relationship. Take one small step forward in that area. It doesn't have to be dramatic, just keep moving. And remind yourself, I'm someone who endures. Let that belief guide how you show up this week and beyond. And even if the results aren't showing up yet, trust the process. Trust that what you're building through your endurance will reveal its fruit in time. Because every effort you make, every time you choose to endure, it's shaping who you become. So keep showing up, keep enduring, because the small steps you take today are building the strong, unshakable version of you tomorrow. Alright, my friends, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you being here. And if you found this helpful, inspiring, or just what you needed to hear, please share it with someone in your circle, because growth is a journey. We're not meant to do it alone. It's social, it's shared, and we all grow better when we do it together. Until next time, keep showing up and keep enduring.